The recently released Come True is a film whose divisiveness is only sure to grow, as the little indie movie that could is seen by more and more people. There's plenty to love here, from the world building, the mythology making, the legitimate tension throughout, the dreamy tone, the music, the supernatural aura, and much more. However, the people who are the most vocally disappointed with the film seem to point out its ending as the moment they checked all the way out, staring at the credits, feeling as if they just lost an hour and a half of their life that they're never going to get back. So let's get into it. What the happened here? But first things first, let's just do a brief recap. The film introduces us to Sarah, a high school senior who is having problems at home and spends her nights crashing wherever she can, be it a friend's house or at the local playground. When she learns of a local sleep study where she can simply show up, get a good night's rest, and make some money, it seems like a no-brainer for a teenager who is essentially homeless. But the sleep study isn't all that it seems once her bad dreams appear to start having real-world implications. The Philip K. Dick-loving stranger, Riff, clues Sarah in on the fact that his team is basically observing her dreams in real time. This sleep study crew are investigating the faceless specters that those suffering from sleep paralysis claim to see standing beside their beds. What these academics hope to find out about this phenomena is anyone's guess, but the creature's burning eyes and unnatural postures definitely suggest that they're far from friendly. Even seeing a photograph of one of these boogeymen, as Sarah does during an exit interview, is apt to instigate violent seizures, and it's not long before Sarah is second-guessing her decision to go through with this process. After renouncing the sleep study and departing the building, she passes out and wakes up in Riff's apartment. Riff is asleep, strapped to the bed and recording his own dreams.
As Sarah watches Riff drift deeper into REM sleep.
On a monitor, we see visions of Riff and Sarah together, including some creepy images of Sarah with blood on her face and what appears to be vampire fangs protruding. We see Riff having visions of the faceless apparitions, and Sarah promptly wakes him up. The two spend a short period of time bonding, if that's what you want to call it, before the duo ultimately have sex. During said intercourse, Sarah sees the dream monsters. We're just going to call them dream monsters. And she once again passes out. Riff gets her to a hospital, but Sarah sleepwalks out of there. Unable to wake her up, Riff follows her as she strolls, recording her dreams as she makes her way to an undisclosed wooded area, where she encounters multiple dream monsters before she wakes up. Sarah, Riff, and his colleague are attacked by the dream monsters, leaving Sarah as the only one left standing. Sarah once again wakes up. It seems that she has killed Riff while they were having sex, and what's even stranger, she now has fangs. And what's even crazier is that she receives a text informing her that she's been in a coma for 20 years. What? So, it was all a dream? Well, no. Let's talk about it.
And what I will say for everyone watching the film is that spoiler alerts here. So if you haven't seen a film, don't listen to what I'm going to say right now. But the reality is that if you think I made a movie that it's all a dream, you're wrong.
Set aside the fact that the director himself has said that this movie was not entirely a dream, just looking at the body of work itself gives us some clues as to what's going on. Reasonable guesses would place everything, including the sex scene, in the real-world category. The fact that Sarah's pre-study life and her domestic issues are deliberately kept vague is worth noting. We don't know the specifics, but it's probably fair to assume that Sarah was abused in some way, shape, or form. As Tracy Palmer wrote over at Signal Horizon magazine, if Sarah was abused and the glowing-eyed man symbolizes her abuser, her sexual encounter with Riff may have triggered her hallucination and coma. From that point on, everything is a dream or dream within a dream. She has been in the hospital in a coma for 20 years. The phone's message is some subconscious encoding of information designed to help her escape
the Byzantine tunnels of her mind.
I know you're smart for your age.
I'm 18.
The film has been accused of being, as Kate Oakland over at IndieWire wrote,
uninterested or unable to engage with the implications of the growing bond between Sarah, a high school student who has essentially run away from home and is now at the mercy of a group of adults she doesn't really know, and Riff, a man who can quite literally look inside her head and do whatever he wants with the information. But this doesn't seem to be the case at all. Early in the film, Riff basically stalks Sarah. When when she passes out at a club, Riff carries her out, and instead of taking her to the hospital, he takes her to his apartment. He does finally take her to the hospital after she passes out while they're having sex. The anxiousness he feels at the hospital seems to be less to do with a genuine concern over Sarah's well-being and more of a guilt weighing on him. In other words, the film is making it pretty clear that Riff is not a good guy, and the things that he's doing is not to be lauded or viewed as acceptable. If Sarah has a history of being abused, then a creep like Riff seems like the prime candidate to send her off the deep end. But that's not all. Title cards scattered throughout the first 2 acts of the film highlights concepts made famous by Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung. What's going on there? At one point, Sarah loses her cell phone at the laundromat, but then recovers it at the end of the film when she encounters the horde of dream monsters. What's going on there? What is with the vampire imagery? What is going on? So many questions, so little time. So let's turn the tables and pass the question to you. What do you think of the film's ending? Did you love it? Did you hate it? How confused were you on a scale from 1 to 10? What are your interpretations? Let us know all of that in the comments section below.